Know thyself in thy proper proportions. That is the phrase that was written above the archway at the temple of the Oracle of Delphi. Many times the proverbs of history are cut in half. They're castrated. They are incomplete. Many people know the phrase, know thyself, and they walk on out into the world thinking that they've got all there is to know of the proverb. But the most important point is know thyself in thy proper proportions. There's another phrase that only recently was made complete in my database, and that is, all is fair in love and war if you can live without honor. And boy, oh boy, I bet there's a lot of people have come and gone who wish they knew that they had to live without honor before they believed that all was fair in love and war. It's, the devil's in the details, the terms of the agreement, the fine print. So today we're going to be working on the Diction of Aries. This is the building blocks of the matrix. This is the proper proportions of the whole that we use. Diction of Aries, dictionary. And I'll just point this out. This is the diction of A-R-I-Z. When I make this gesture, many people will recognize the crucifix, the cross of blessing, of protection. This is the formula of our language. This is the formula of our languish, our traveling out, travahar, tribulation, Job. Our job. This is the work that we do when we struggle to communicate. The foundation of all of what I'm laying out here begins in Egypt, the center of civilization, with the creation myth of the Egyptians. Khepri, the Khepri beetle, is the dung beetle, the scarab beetle. It rolls up its dung, and it actually uses the shadow of the sun to leave it a message in the sand. And the message is a perfect circle. The dung beetle rolls its dung in a perfect sphere throughout the day. So that is the source of the word scribe, the source of writing, the source of knowledge, the source of wisdom, all comes out of Egypt. The Library of Alexandria was just north of the Cairo there. So the word beetle in Latin is a scarabajo, and that means its face down. So the scribes had their face down as they wrote on their writing desks, forever faithful to their labor. And the beetles were an initiation, the beginning into worshiping. The followers of the Beatles, they were bowing down to those fellas. And they were telling the greatest story ever told. There's a lot of wisdom in the words of the Beatles. So, moving out of Egypt, we'll go into Judeo-Christian mythos, which is... This is the ritual of Yom Kippur. The word Yom Kippur originates with the Khepri beetle. And the beginning of Yom Kippur, there is a drawing of lots. And that's what I had to do to generate this image to convey this wisdom today. I had to draw the lots. And there is in Yom Kippur, the Israelites would bring 2 goats to the temple in the beginning. And Those two goats are exactly alike at the same price. That is radius, diameter, radius. All of these metaphors are telling you to draw the circle, cast the lots, the 12 lots of the zodiac. And then one goat remains in the temple, stays, and the other is sent out into the wilderness with an able-bodied guide. And they journey, the traveling of that guide, taking the goat away from the temple. It takes 5 Sabbath days. That is, in my overstanding of things, a signifier of the 5 years that half of the cosmic population were sent into oblivion in the Avengers story. And at the end, they returned after 5 years being gone. Along this journey, the able-bodied guide was instructed to rest at 10 stations along the way. And if you count these spokes, you'll get the 10 stations of the journey out of the temple. And at the end of the journey, the sacrificial goat is thrown off of a mountain and sacrificed for Azazel. Now, the goat that remains is for the Lord, stays in the temple. The goat that is sent out into languish and tribulation is a goat for Azazel, and that's the devil card. That's the dark side of the cycle, the bottom, the underworld. And the word Az, actually Oz, O-Z, but Oz it means goat in Hebrew. And so A-Z, that's 2 goats. Goat, El, the lion, the most high, the highest point. In the 27 degrees that we use in the Diction of Aries, the dividing line is right here between M and N. And that is to measure twice and cut once. And that is the halfway mark. And M and N, 13 and 14, 13 and 14, that's 1.314. That is pi. That is man, M-N, moon, and even, so this would be the sunny season, and this would be the entering into the underworld, the public and the private. Well, woman is the private side culturally throughout history. Not in my opinion. That is a cultural truth. That's not me projecting my insecurities onto the female population. I'm saying that culturally, the woman is the private side of the household. She holds the treasures. She's given all the gifts. If the man has to go out and fight and he dies, she retains the inheritance of the world, of the family, to run away and fight again, to raise the family after this man is sent out to do battle. Culturally, traditionally, not my opinion, just some hard truths of the world. Also, the dark side of the moon is private. We never see it. The side that faces the moon, is staring at us, but the dark side of the moon, the away moon. So in many ways, woman is the private, man is the, woman would be the moon pillar. The sun pillar would be man. Women are only fertile on their cycle, the 28-day cycle. Man is fertile every day, any minute, whenever he needs to. He could be making babies. All right, moving forward. So we have the 2 goats, A-Z, the Alpha, the Omega, Azazel. Now, a lot of the symbols along this arc are very clear indicators that you have the decoder ring in the right position. A, B, C, you can rearrange those to be C-A-B, that's cabra. Even though this is a male sheep, which is pure. It's the preferred one. This is the horns of the ram. And it's CAB is cabra, is the goat that stays in the temple. Up here we have GH. I just love to point out that HG is Mercury on the periodic table. And Mercury, his symbol looks a lot like this, Taurus, with a little body drawn underneath. But Mercury, in his creation myth, in his story, in Greek myth, he leads a herd of bulls and steals them and takes them on a caper where they leave tracks behind. And Apollo has to track him down and hold judgment with the other gods as witness. And they tell their two sides of the story, sun pillar, moon pillar, tell their two sides of the story. And in the end, Apollo ends up apologizing. And Mercury plays a song, Freddie Mercury, and he enchants all the gods, and they go forward, and Mercury is allowed, that's Apollo, and Wednesday is the binding, the Mercury, allowed to become the king of thieves. So when you listen to the mythos, a lot of truths are maintained, even though it has jumped through cultures and time. And they are embodied in this arrangement here. Up here you have the eye at 90 degrees. This is the highest, HI, the highest point. This is the third eye, your first eye, your pineal. This marks the beginning of July, the jeweled eye that allows you to see the answer, Cancer. So just a couple more points. This is the 90 degree mark in the Diction of Aries. This is the 90 degree mark. But according to the calendar, that is the 6th month. So you got the 6 and the 9. We've seen the answer. Moving on. Over here we talked about this before. The 180 degree markation lands on the 18th letter. That's R, reverse, reflection. Another indicator that we have the positioning correct. 260 degrees down here, ending on Z, in the sign of Sagittarius. If you take the arrow of Sagittarius and you reverse it, you get a Y and also an X. X and Y chromosome. Those are the building blocks of gender. And if you take each one of these months, you add them up, you're at 9 months. So here you have the X and the Y chromosome creating a zygote. XY, zygote, XYZ. Furthermore, Capricorn sure looks like a cursive Z to me. It also looks like the ampersand. If you break that little zip on the ampersand and bend it out, you will get a Capricorn sign. DNA, AND, and per se, and ampersand, XY zygote, DNA. This is the stone that the builder refused. These are the 3 gifts of the Magi that come to the birthing of the cross, the Christ, the crossing over, the coming out from the underworld and lifting into the light of day. This is the miracle. The 3 wise men brought 3 gifts. One was myrrh. Pisces is water. Myrrh, water. Frankincense is air. Aquarius, an air element. And gold. Capricorn. Gold is corn. Capri is the crown. Myrrh, frankincense, gold. Ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at the stone that the builder refused. This is the temple. I'm going to take it off the deep end real quick. I believe this is the placenta. This is the place you enter into the stone that the builder refused. The builder is your mother, the womb, your time in the womb. Now she refuses to build you any longer. And this is your struggle, your beginning of your journey, your tribulation, your job, your languishing. And now you must learn the building blocks of the journey to come back around full circle again. So the stone that the builder refused here is 100 degrees, 90 plus the 10. That's a 100 degree of division until the Sagittarius, the sage gate to Aries. The arrow you have to shoot to get to the beginning again. The Sagittarius, he's pointing kind of at Taurus, but also potentially here at Aries. And these are your 3 cell salts, the Schuster salts. Everybody, wherever you're born on this zodiac, the next 3 months are going to be the months that you need to gain the minerals to build your own temple. And here we are in the element of earth. The pentacles, the coins, the ores, the alloys, the minerals. This is definitely an indicator of your 3 Schuster salts, your cell salts that you're going to have to attain on your own. The beginning of your struggle. And it'll repeat every year. This is why people have commonalities in their zodiac signs that they relate to. Look up Santos Bonacci. He's a good resource to understand the Schuster salts or the cell salts. And just a quick point, in our building blocks of our languish, we are lifted off the land. We have no placement on the land. And this is the gold. This is the source. This is the eternal resource that we are not privy to because we've been sent out of the temple. So what the greatest story ever told, I believe, is telling us is that we must know ourselves in our proper proportions and to know what minerals are the building blocks to make us complete. And it may have to do with your 3 cell salts that you'll be lacking depending on your birthday, but it may also have something to do with the placenta, the place entered, the archway of initiation, this being the archway of initiation. I'm going to move forward from there, but in our next video I think I'll be talking about the Fool card, the placenta, the circle of life, that all of this is pointing towards. So just remember, folks, know thyself in thy proper proportions, and all's fair in love and war if you can live without honor. Big up. Much strength.